Hello everyone, long time no see, haven't made a video in about a month, but George R. R. Martin has just netted a mid-8 figures, and I did a little bit of Googling, and I think that's something like 40 or 50 million fucking dollars to develop a 5-year deal, or a 5-year, I can't even wrap my head around this, because the rumors have been swirling for months now that there's other prequels in development aside from House of the Dragon, and to be honest, I would have been happy with just 7 seasons of House of the Dragon and then maybe like a Game of Thrones movie or something, but George R. R. Martin has just signed a 5-year contract with HBO. What does this mean? That we're definitely going to be getting several different types of spin-off, prequels, animated series, whatever you want to call it. As of right now, most of them seem to be prequels, but let's face it, a 5-year contract, a multi-million-dollar deal, there's going to be some sort of successor to Game of Thrones. Most of the major, most likable characters, Daenerys aside, obviously she's my favorite, but most of them survived. Before we get into too much, please do me a massive favor, and 1, slap a like on this video, and then 2, make sure you're subscribed, and then leave me a comment down in the comment section and let me know what you thought of this video. Now, this article / information actually comes to us from The Hollywood Reporter, and it was written by James Hibbard. Now, it reads, George R. R. Martin is founding a new content kingdom at HBO. The Game of Thrones author just signed a massive overall deal to develop more programming for the network and its streaming service, HBO Max. Sources say Martin's contract spans 5 years and is worth mid-8 figures. That's where I got that Googling thing at the beginning. I think it's like $50 million. Mid-8 figures is 10 million plus, so mid that before you get to 100 million, making it 9 figures. George is getting $50 million, and I'm going to sidetrack from the article real quick because I know the blaring elephant in the room, so to speak, is all of the super book fans, myself included, are wondering what the fuck does this mean for the Winds of Winter? Is George a money fiend? Is he only doing this for the money? No, it's you got to understand that something is happening right now in the entertainment industry. They realize that massive serialistic, we'll call it that, type of content, things that exist in a massive universe are what sells. Game of Thrones, haters on season 8 or not, myself, whatever, I go back and forth, but it was the greatest series of all time. I've always said that whatever happened in season 8 did not change what happened in the previous seasons, but Game of Thrones is the greatest series of all time, and because of that, it deserves a universe. We're hopefully going to eventually get to see what happens after season 8, maybe in a movie. Characters come back left and right. Daenerys is my favorite. Daenerys is everything about that show. If you removed her from the show, it wouldn't be as popular as it was. Point blank, period. Like, if you just completely removed her and the dragons were just talked of, and it was more like left up ambiguous, and like we never really saw, the show wouldn't exist without Daenerys. So if she's killed and there's something that comes out that continues that storyline, even though they've adamantly said no, even though George is making all this fucking money and they know that to make the most amount of money, you got to continue the most popular storyline, though we'll see, when it comes out. But there's no way that Daenerys isn't coming back. It only makes sense. They're just putting it off, probably because Emilia wanted to take a break. Maybe this COVID situation, no one saw it coming. Maybe the actors who weren't necessarily on board with continuing the story, maybe they will want to continue the story now. Who fucking so much money. I think what really happened is, obviously, we had a pandemic last year, but HBO / Warner Brothers, their parent company, realized that they're not doing so well with DC in the DC cinematic universe, so they need some sort of universe, and obviously the next in line, which is far greater than DC universe ever exist. I mean, say what you will about Zack Snyder's version. Like, I don't know. It was cool as fuck to watch, but it pales in comparison to Game of Thrones at its height. This new series, the one that's 100% coming out, House of the Dragon, features its most amazing element, which is dragons and Targaryens and titties, obviously. So it's going to do very well. It's not necessarily all about money, but super fans of the show, would you not like to see this universe come to life and be continued on screen in one way or another? The best way to get a more accurate depiction of his universe is by bringing in different people. Now, I don't necessarily know about the accolades of the current writers, aside from Ryan Condal and, Miguel Sapochnik is going to be doing some directing, and obviously George himself is going to be doing some direction in the writer's room, but I don't know about the writing team that they have right now. We'll see when it comes out, and more importantly, in about another week and a half to 2 weeks, they're going to start filming. So we're going to be able to start putting together the storyline for the first season, and we kind of can sort of draw conclusions from there and just ultimately wait till it airs, because I'm positive it's going to be fucking amazing. But continuing on with what the article was saying, now, the news comes on the heels of a surge of Game of Thrones prequels being put into development. All told, the network has, 5 projects on Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire fantasy world in the development stage, and 1 House of the Dragon that's been greenlit to series. Now, that's another thing that kind of, as a side note here, confuses myself a little bit until you start to look into it. The development doesn't necessarily mean they're like casting people. It means they're coming up with a storyboard. They're probably hiring like concept artists, and they're just doing like a lot of visual stuff that sort of like is like the scaffolding or whatever, if you will, seeing if the framework of the show would work. And the article does go on to say like who's developing some of these series, but some of the ones that are in development right now are the Nymeria Project, the Sea Snake, Flea Bottom, Dunkin' Egg, which is my personal favorite aside from House of the Dragon, and then also like some sort of animated series, which I've noticed in my comment section and on my Twitter. Speaking of which, make sure you go follow me at Sir_Hunts. But I've seen a lot of people, myself included, that would love some sort of animated feature, just because we feel like until you look into how expensive making an animated feature that would be up to the quality and the standards that Game of Thrones fans have, it's expensive, but that's something that everyone, I think mostly anime fans that also like Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, want to see. I don't know if they should do it like a traditional anime style. I think American animation would maybe fit the theme of it, because it is like sort of like an English history narrative, but if I had to pick a time frame for some sort of animated feature, personally, I would pick the Doom of Valyria. That's something that they could like serialize and make really to promote HBO Max. Is like maybe they only release it on HBO Max or something, and it comes out like 5 episodes every year and a half, and they really put all of their effort into it. But it just tells the true story of the Doom of Valyria, and maybe Martin, since they'll stretch it out so much, will have time to tell more of the mysteries in his books first, and then we'll get to see them come to life in an animated feature or in one of these mini spin-offs. That's the thing that's so fucking crazy. It's like all throughout the many years, you can pick one of the things in A World of Ice and Fire, or Fire and Blood, or one of the novella from Dunkin' Egg, or one of the main series in A Song of Ice and Fire to make videos on. Now, literally, all of it counts. Make videos on fucking everything. That's what my mind is going off right now. The problem is, and that's why I'm wrapping up this video, is it's not a problem at all, but it just makes it harder to make these kinds of videos. I have to go change my son's diaper and feed him. But with that being said, I want to get the fuck out of here. Content is about to regularly be resuming. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could please slap a like on this video. The like goal is going to be 420. Also, make sure you're subscribed, and then leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. My name's Mark, and this is Hunts Reviews. Oh, wow.